haunted by a poltergeist that actually haunts the house.
Oh God. Rachel, someone said my name. You were going to die.
Describe the exact same man.
And you're like, how did you know that? That's so scary.
I haven't really told many people that story.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, that's the creepiest story I've ever heard. Genuinely.
My eyes started to water because it was so scary.
Wow.
There was a kid that was like, come play with us.
Looks like a child's hand.
Mimicking Alex's voice. And I just started bawling. There was a girl that said, get out. You have to see it to believe it. Okay, so I have here RachelPedd. Hi, thank you so much for coming into this podcast with me, my spooky Halloween. I'm so excited. When I think of like Halloween stuff, I'm like, you are the person, always.
Oh, thank you so much. That is the compliment that I've probably been waiting for my entire life. So thank you.
I'm so glad that you're here. Well, I honestly, like, I keep telling people, I've told you this before off camera too, where I was like, I am so obsessed with your room. I love your little spooky background. I am, compared to you, people would think that you're the one hosting the Halloween. They're like, okay, girl, this looks really pathetic and sad. You need to be more like Rachel, because look, like your back, you have Funko Pops too. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, I've got loads of Funko Pops, but more so down like on the lower shelves that you can't even see. But yes, Funko Pop fiend.
Yes, I love that. Did you like always love Funko Pops, or has that been like a recent obsession?
Relatively recent, because my husband got into it and then he got me into the Funko Pops. So like, I love the Halloween one. So I've got Dwight from The Office with a pumpkin head. I've got Winnie from Hocus Pocus, etc. I've got Danny from Hocus Pocus as well. So yeah, I've got all the Halloween ones.
Oh my God, that is amazing. I don't think I have any like Halloween ones here, but like I have so many, because my dad, when I moved here to this condo, like I was telling you, when I moved, I have like giant boxes filled with Funko Pops at my dad's house, and he's like, you cannot take all those with you. There's absolutely no room for those. And I was like, what do you mean? So I have like some giant like How to Train Your Dragon ones, and a lot of like little things that I have from like shows that I watch, but I don't have any Halloween ones. But I need to get a Halloween one for sure, because it just makes sense. Like, I love Halloween. I should get one.
You should. They're the most fun ones. Have you seen the one that you can get of the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus? It's all three of them round a cauldron. Oh,
yes!
I need that so bad.
That one looks so cool.
I need it somewhere. It's got to go somewhere. So fingers crossed, maybe one day.
Yes, you could probably there you go. You can find something to put in that right side corner that you're always like, I don't know what to put there.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Oh my God. And I love and I was telling you this before, but you have like a full-on ghost hunting poster in your room. Do you keep that up like all year round, or is that like a just October thing?
No. This is up all year round. This one here. Yes. This is a commission from let me pull up the I'm gonna mess his name up, so 1 second. Let me just have a look. I think it's I wouldn't mind, but they've done all my channel art, like everything. But essentially this is me and my two friends, April and Reese, because we used to play Phasma together all the time. So it says what does it say? Getting loser, we're going ghost hunting. And we're in the car getting ready to, like, you know, get some ghosts.
Oh my God. I love it. We need to play Phasmo together. I'm not super experienced, but I would love to just like play. I think that would be so much fun.
Yeah, see, I'm okay. I get scared really, really easily. So it's quite funny. You know, like, people love playing with me because I'll just scream at anything. But yeah, sorry, Simscraper is the name of the person. Yeah, I think we're all familiar. Like, they do all my artwork, and I had to frame that because it's just, oh my goodness, it's like, it has such a special place in my heart, does that. So that had to get framed and put in my office.
I love it so much because I have Billy too, like Simscraper, as my channel art as well, and I'm like sitting here and I didn't realize it. So when I met Billy before I knew your channel existed, and then when I saw it, because I was going through his stuff, because I was like, I need to see his art, because I love like his art and it just looks so good. And then I was like sitting here and I scrolled down and I was like, oh my god, I'm like, this person has the same one as me. And I was like, oh my god, I'm like, her character's so cute. And then I just like started like looking at all your stuff and I'm like, that is so fun. But yeah, like his art is so cool. When I saw that you had the little blow up poster thing, I was like, that is so cool. I need to get like a little poster thing, because I love the ghost hunting and like the whole spooky vibe. That's so cool. So does it feel like, so for me, when October rolls around, I'm just always like, no, October, this is Halloween month. This is the time where I actually like absorb everything spooky, nothing any time of the year. So no November, December, July, August, like I cannot do it. I have to do it on October. Are you the same, or are you just kind of like all year round?
I'm exactly the same. So Hocus Pocus is reserved for October, although I do get urges throughout the year to watch Hocus Pocus because it's just such a cozy, comfy film. We love watching the Scream movies, the Halloween movies, the Evil Dead movies, which I actually mentioned in one of my recent videos, because I was like, oh, this cabin reminds me of the cabin from, and I couldn't remember the name of the film, and it was Evil Dead, but the original Evil Dead that came out in like the 70s, I want to say. Oh my goodness, such a good funny time if you want to watch like a really silly tongue-in-cheek spooky film. Highly recommend. But
I love that.
Yes, we do reserve certain films for this time of year, so yeah, I can completely get on board with that.
I love that. I love that. I'm glad that we're at least like in the same boat on that, because it's you know, you just need more. But like there is some like movies that I have to watch, and then there's some movies that I just refuse to watch for Halloween. Like for me, Annabelle freaks me out. My sister hates The Grudge. Like she will not go anywhere near The Grudge. She has had like nightmares about that all the time. But I have to watch Monster House. Is there like a show or like a movie, or I guess like a movie that you refuse to watch during Halloween because it's so scary, or you just kind of like, let's go for it. If I get scared, that's gonna happen, but I'm still gonna watch all the way through.
If my husband's listening to this, which he probably isn't, I'm gonna go with no. There isn't a movie that I won't watch. There are certain movies that I've seen before that really creep me out, and there are certain bits where I'll just look away. I'll be like, okay, just tell me when it's over, and he'll just watch. He's not bothered. I can deal with gory stuff, and he can't as much. And I can't deal with the jumpy, scary stuff, and he can. He just, nothing phases him with that. But yeah, there's certain movies where I'm just like, okay, just tell me when it's over.
Tell me when it's done.
Even though I know it's happening because I've already seen it before. But yeah, there isn't really a movie that's off limits, I don't think, for me. So no.
Okay, well that's good though. Yeah, see, you're much braver than I am. I'm fine with like gory stuff, but yeah, like Alex the same way. He doesn't like the blood and like the stuff all around. He's just like, oh, okay, tell me when it's done. But like me, I'll just sit there and watch it. But I think it's something to do with like us women, where we'll just sit there and like watch like true crime. We'll sit there and like they'll talk about the most goriest things ever, and we're just like, wow, this is so interesting. And then the guys are like, what is wrong with you? You guys are crazy.
Yeah.
But like a jump scare.
That's me. That's literally me. I can completely relate. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Like I think today at work, Alex messaged me. He's like, what are you doing? And I was like, listening to true crime. And he's like, is that fun for you? And I'm like, yes, very much so. It's very interesting.
I used to listen to true crime podcasts on my drive to and from work all the time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I totally get it.
I love that. It's always so good in like say when you're going to work in the mornings and it's all foggy and dark and like the trees are starting to turn, and then like some of them don't have like the leaves on it, so it's just like the creepy branches, and it's just like, oh, it's such a vibe. I love it so much.
Yeah, no, I'm exactly the same. I don't get to drive to and from work anymore, which is unfortunate in some ways, but yes, when I did, that was just, yes, so incredible.
Yeah, so you have the ghost hunting like poster. I love it. It's so cool. I totally want to get one of myself, like doing something. Probably not the ghost hunting, because that's like I'm not like, I don't know, because I went ghost hunting with Alex and I almost pooped my pants. So I don't think I can put that on my wall, because I feel like I'm gonna have imposter syndrome. I'm gonna look so cool on this piece of art, and then in reality I was actually like terrified.
But to be fair, you did that in real life. I was doing that in a game and I still couldn't handle it. So, you know, you've got to give yourself credit there.
Okay, a little chip off the old block. Okay, there we go. Well, I was gonna say, like, have you had any kind of like ghost experiences before? Like, what kind of like got you into like the whole paranormal?
So definitely my dad had a huge influence on it, and then subsequently my sister and I just sort of followed suit, I would say. You know, we were watching pretty creepy movies at quite a young age.
Ballsy.
I feel like my mum used to just say to my dad, why are you letting them watch these movies? Like, this is not appropriate. You know, they're 5 and 7 years old. Why are they watching these movies? You know, and it's like The Blob, Jaws, like I'm talking old movies because, you know, I'm not exactly young. But, and I think that's where it first started. So, yeah, definitely my dad had a huge influence on it. Absolutely.
So your mom hasn't had like really a lot of experiences with her, or like she used to work in a hospital, right, or something, so like she had some experiences happen with her. But when does your dad like to talk about it more than say your mom, or does your mom try and like, oh yeah, that happened anyway, like just go on with her life? Or was your dad also kind of like,
I feel like my dad with the ghost stuff is more like film oriented, whereas my mum with the ghost stuff is very much, she's had those experiences in real life, so she's a little bit more, well, that's happened to me in real life. I don't think she was necessarily thinking about those things when my sister and I were exposed to these movies, you know, so I think she was probably like thinking of two completely different things here. So I'm not really sure if my dad's had any paranormal experiences as such. He's never spoken about them if he has. And the only reason that my mum told, well, no, not the only reason. That's not fair at all, because she used to tell Fiona and I about these all the time. But I asked her explicitly, I was like, you know, I'm doing this podcast. Do you have any stories? I know you used to work in a hospital. And she did. She gave me a story. So
I'm so excited to hear. That's so cool. I always see, like, you always hear things when people are in hospitals, you know, like people say like they'll see someone sitting beside their bed, or like my boyfriend Alex, he used to work in like a long-term care home, and they had like a cat, and they were like, oh, we have this cat, and if it goes into your room, usually what happens is like that person will soon like kind of pass away. So it's almost like a creepy kind of thing, and like people would like talk to people, they'd be like, oh, there's someone here, and they'd start screaming, or like, so it's like you hear those things all the time of different places, like old age homes, hospitals, all the time. Like I feel like working a night shift at the hospital would be absolutely terrifying, because there's so many things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's definitely what my mum was exposed to, so fair play to her, because I'm like, as much as I love the paranormal and it definitely intrigues me, I'm not sure I'd have the confidence to do that. So
that's totally fair, because that's the thing, is like, if I look back at like when I was younger, I thought that Jumanji was a horror film, so that's kind of like my level of like, oh, this is kind of scary, okay, I'm not gonna, like, I'm the one that's also like, tell me when it's over. And when I would always sit there and watch it, I always thought it was so scary. But also at the same time, I've had so many experiences growing up as a kid that I feel like when I went ghost hunting with Alex, I thought I was gonna be like super duper scared, but at the same time it felt almost normal because I've dealt with it for so long. So it was like, it was really weird seeing how I was like, oh yeah, like this is kind of cool, but Alex was more like, okay, this is a little bit more kind of freaky, this is a little creepy. He's not as much of a believer as I am, just because I've had personal experiences. But say like your husband or your sister, do they like that stuff more? Are they more of a believer, or are they kind of not so much?
No, they're both definitely believers. I think I'm not sure if my husband's had any experiences as such, or my sister, because I did explicitly ask my sister. I was like, have you had any experiences? And she said no, but they are absolutely believers. They're not shut off from the idea that there's potentially, you know, this very strange middle ground between, you know, the world that we know and then a different world where potentially there's something else. So yeah, they're both definitely open to it.
I'm glad that it's cool to like listen to, because a lot of times when you talk to people about these certain subjects, it's either they're super closed off, or they believe wholeheartedly, or they're kind of like on the fence. and they're just kind of like, I'm here, so whatever happens happens. And it kind of depends on like what you get. And I think with people maybe even commenting on here, you'd be like, you guys are kind of crazy, but you know what, but there's going to be people who are also kind of like, no, they're not crazy, because I got that too. So it kind of depends, because you can't like convince someone. Because I think when I first got into my relationship, I was trying to almost like convince, like, no, like this can be like a thing. This is like a thing. And then you realize that you can't do that, because they don't experience the things that you say experience, or things that you've heard of. It's like you have to see it to believe it, really. And you know, like things that I've seen when I was a kid, like I had, I think I told you like a really, like, this is like one of my weirdest stories, where I was at home. And so the first time I ever like audibly heard something with a friend that was over, I was downstairs, we were in the basement, and we were playing Wii. So we were playing like Mario Kart or something. I can't remember what the case may be, but we were playing there. And my mom was on a trip. So was my stepdad. My sister was gone for school. So I was just kind of home alone with my friend, and we were taking care of like our dog. And my dog at the time, he could hear like everything. He was always so weird. Like anytime that I go to bed, he would sit there on my bed and just sit there and like watch as something would be like almost at the front of my bed. So, and then he would just like move his head towards the side of my bed. It's so scary. So I'd always like cover his head and be like, you didn't see anything, stop it, like go to bed, shut up. And it's so creepy. So that night, the first time that my friend like ever heard something is that we heard footsteps upstairs while we were playing games downstairs. And at that point, I have lived in that house for over like 13 years. So I know what it sounds like when someone is walking upstairs. And we were both playing, and we both heard like doom, 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 doom. And we just looked, we stopped the TV and we turned down the music, and we could hear just like someone walking upstairs. And it's not like the house settling. It's not like something shifting, nothing moving. Like it is audibly feet. And so when we were sitting there and we're like listening, and I go, okay, there's definitely someone in this house, or it's a ghost. And so
yeah, either way,
not really the best, but I prefer one over the other. So I tell my friend, I go, okay, we need to go upstairs and figure out what is happening. And she goes, if you go upstairs, you are going to die. 100% you are going to die. That's the first thing that happens. As soon as the first person goes to check up on that sound, they're the first one to die. That's what's gonna happen to you. And I have your dog here. I don't know what to do.
Especially if you say, be right back.
Exactly. Yeah. But I'm like sitting here and I'm like, girl, I'm like, if there's someone here, then I will be the one to sacrifice. It's okay. Just run. There's a back door. Just take my dog. So anyway, I'm crazy. I'm that person in the movie that dies first. I go up and I'm looking around and I'm checking the doors. I'm checking the closets, under the bed. Literally, like my first thought was under the bed, because I was like, that's where monsters are. At the time, I was like, duh, like I have to check under my bed.
Still where they are.
Exactly.
To be fair.
Exactly. I was like, okay, bed, check, not there. Closet, check. Dang it, that's where I thought he was gonna be. Not there. So I start walking around checking the house, and there was no one. So I was like, okay, that was really weird. And then I just kept like, all after that, I just kept hearing like footsteps up. The scariest one, like I was mentioning, I kind of went off track. What happened was that one night I was sleeping, or I was trying to sleep. You know, when every time like you're just sitting there and you're like trying to sit there and convince yourself to fall asleep, and you're just like, okay,
you can't fall asleep. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's such a hard process. You're just sitting there.
It really is.
So it is. And then I had Malcolm, who was my dog at the time. He was like sleeping beside me, and he started to like get up, and he started to growl, and I didn't know like what was going on. Right?
I'm out the front door at that point.
At that point, I just like throw him out the window. I'd be like, shut up. Then he would go. I was just kind of like sitting there, and I'm like, okay. And I kind of got up, and my door was open for some, like, I don't know why. So my bed, the edge of my bed at the very edge is my door. Okay. And I had the door open, and he just kept looking there. And the same thing happened, where he was looking at the door, and then he started to slowly turn, as if there was someone walking in my bedroom, walking towards the side of my bed where I'm sleeping, and he just stopped. And I go, okay. And then what I heard in the side of my ear, because at that point I kind of like hide back down. I'm like, okay, this is really scary. I hide back down and I hear someone in my ear saying, wake up, or get up, or something. Like, it was just very, like, it was a woman, and it was so scary, and it just said, wake up, get up, and it like startled me so much, and I have the chills just talking about it, because it was something like I wasn't falling asleep, I was wide awake because I was already scared. So I was already there, like I was sitting here and I'm like, okay, trying to fall asleep, did not work. And I heard this like woman. And after that, I like ran to my mom and I was like, Mom, this is what happened. She's like, don't worry, go to bed. You're hearing things. And I'm like, I am not. I am visibly like startled. I'm shaken. And she just kind of like, you know what, just go back to bed. And I go, okay. I go back to bed, I guess. So I walk over, I go back to my bed, and I'm sitting there, and I could not fall asleep for the rest of the night. And obviously. So, I mean, as one would, I think if I fell back asleep, I think I'd be considered a psychopath. Anyway, you know, fast forward a couple years, and this happened recently where I was talking to my mom and my sister about that experience. And I guess my mom forgot about that experience, which, I mean, fair, it happened at like 3 a.m. So it makes sense. And so I tell her and I go, yeah, there was this, you know, and I told her the story. And for some reason, well, I guess I'll tell you, but like she turned over to my sister and they both look at each other like confused, or as if they heard that story before, but like one of them. And I look over and I'm like, okay, like, what are you guys staring at? Like, what happened? And my mom turns back around. She goes, Jamie, that happened to me last week. And I go, what? What are you talking about? And she goes, I was laying in bed and a woman said in my ear, like whispered it, saying like, get up. And it freaked me out. And that's what happened. So my mom forgot that happened to me, but the same thing happened to her a couple years later.
Wow.
So it's really funny as a coincidence. Like, surely someone could be like, oh, that's just a coincidence, you know, but like, that's a really interesting coincidence.
Yeah, that's a huge coincidence, in fact.
Yeah. It's so weird. And so there was a time that happened with my mom, and there was like a jump scare. So she had like things that, I guess she's had things happen to her too. But like there was some times where she was like, I need to go to the hospital, but I don't know if I really need to go to the hospital. And she like, there was a light in her room and it was green. And she said, okay, if I need to go to this hospital, because she also just like talks to whoever and whatever. She's like, you know what, if I gotta go to the hospital, turn that color red, you know, like if I need to go. And it turned red. And she said that no, and it's never turned red before. And you would think that it's like something out of like a fiction, like a nonfiction book. Like you'd sit there and be like, that is such a make-believe thing. But my mom, like I told her, I was like, you need to promise on, because like I believe, but I'm also at the same time like a skeptic where I'm like, okay, I need to make sure that you're telling the truth because I believe in it so much. And so I told my mom, I was like, you need to like swear on, you know, whoever's grave that I said. I was like, you need to tell me right now if that is true. And she said, Jamie, no word of a lie on this person's grave. It went red. I went to the hospital, you know what? And it was something like that she needed to go for. So it was just like really crazy. And she told me that happened when I wasn't there with her. And I was just kind of like, that's really crazy. If it is true, that would be a crazy story.
Yeah, that's oh my goodness, it's almost like your mum and you are connected in some way with like your paranormal experiences and stuff like that. Like that's, oh my goodness, that's so weird. And it can't be a coincidence. It just can't be.
That's what, yeah, I told her, I was like, it's such a weird coincidence. But here's the thing too, is like, so this is really fun. My old boss used to be a medium, or I guess he is, but like I didn't know it before, but anytime that he would try and read me, he always read my sister. And he's like, who fell out of the treehouse? And I was like, what? And he's like, you have a treehouse in your backyard, right? And I go, yeah, like it's like a wooden one, like you built it, right? Like it's not something that you bought. And we were like, yeah, because my mom's house, my dad is such a builder, so he built like a tree house in the backyard. And he's like, who's the one that fell off the tree house? He's like, did you do that? And I go, no. I'm like, what are you talking about? So I text my sister and I go, Brittany, did you ever like fall off the treehouse? And she goes, yeah, I was just talking about that with like my boyfriend like 2 days ago. And I was like, no way. And I said, well, yeah, this person told me that happened to you. And she goes, yeah, that happened to me. And he would just say like the most random things. And he would be so true and dead on about it. And I'm like, how do you know that? So, but the thing is that I've noticed that every medium that I've ever talked to, they always get things from my mom or my sister. And it's like, if they're reading me, they're reading them, which is so strange.
Which
so I'm like,
feeds into my opinion that like you're linked in some way.
Yeah. I think there's something going on. But you said that you had a story with your mom, right? Like she also had something happen to her.
Oh, yeah. Let me pull it up so I've got it word for word. Yeah, so my mum used to work in a hospital when she was younger, and she actually sent me the story specifically for this podcast. So thank you, Mum. Not that you're listening to this, but thank you, Mum.
We love it. Thank you, Rachel's mom.
So I was sitting at the nurses' station with a support worker. We were on a Nightingale ward with all the day chairs in the centre of the ward. I looked up and saw a figure sitting at the end of the chairs who apparently had been a long-term patient on the ward years ago where there was a piano. Occasionally, he had been seen previously, and the support worker said to me, "Don't be afraid, he's watching over us and the other patients on the ward." I have to say at no point was I scared of what I'd seen. I was more comforted. So that was the first one, and then she just attached like a really small paragraph on the end of the message where she says, "The other story was where a female figure in the old lift shaft who was said to have been a trainee nurse who sadly committed years ago. The woman was not as distinct to see as the man."
Oh my God.
Got like two quite vivid stories from when she used to work in the hospital.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah.
That is so scary. Cause like if you're working and then you just see some like man, cause you see them almost like you think it's a real person.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're like, "Oh, excuse me, sir, like you can't be here," or like, "Oh, hello, like, you know, we're whatever." But then there's someone like, and then you look away and they're gone. And you're like, wait, how did that happen?
Yeah.
That's so scary.
And if you're tired as well, if it's like 3-4 o'clock in the morning and you're running on 3-4 hours of sleep, like you might start thinking, oh, well, am I seeing things? Am I not seeing things? Like, is this actually happening, you know?
I saw a video recently and I don't know what type of like issue, I wouldn't say like an issue, but like a disorder or something like that, someone that had, and they hear constantly, like, I don't know if it's schizophrenia or something, but like they hear people talk all the time, they see things all the time, and they whatever like that. And I remember watching the video and I was like, this looks really familiar, and I couldn't remember what it was. And it was something that happened with me where when I was a kid, I was again back at my mom's house, which she still lives in at this day. But like in the bedroom when I was a kid, I remember like waking up to go to school and I just saw like these people like talking in my face, and like they were all black, it was all shadows, and they were like yelling at me, screaming at me, laughing at me, like they were coming at my face, they were all over the place. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my God, like this is so scary. And I like got up and I was walking towards the door and these people were just like all around me, and I was awake, like 100%. I was awake. I was like 6 years old. And I don't know what was going on, but I just kept seeing people in shadows moving all around. And then as soon as I opened the door, something like came at my face and I screamed, and my mom came over and she was like, and then at that point it stopped, and my mom came over and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I go, "No." And I just start crying and I was like, there's so many people, like there's so many people in the room with me, I don't know what's happening, there's scary people flying at me. And she just like, you don't know what to say to your child when things like that happen. And I'm like, was I experiencing like something spiritual, or was I experiencing something that like someone could like actually like be like, no, this is it, this is what, like schizophrenia or something, like for like a weird episode, because that's never happened to me after that.
Right. Okay.
So I'm like, I don't know what that would have been. So it's just like, it's just really weird. But I've always had some weird stuff happen at my mom's because it's been so strange and so heavy. And every time that I go in there, I didn't want to stay in there for more than like a day or two because it was just so, it was so much on me.
You could feel it.
Yeah, and I didn't know what it was because I was sitting there and I told my sister, I'm like, I can't stay here for more than like a day or two because I get these bad headaches. I sit there and I'm just like, okay, I need to leave. And one time my sister went to Scotland and England, and then they went over to like a bunch of other places as well. And she brought back like this sage, I guess, like from Scotland, and they were like some really I guess like some genuine sage, and she brought it back, and I didn't know she did that, and she came over back to my mom's house, and I guess she just like started to sage the house. I went back
Good
one
idea.
day. Yeah, I literally, I guess, honestly, it was a good idea. And I go over not knowing. I just came over for her birthday, I think it was in December. I came over and we were downstairs in the basement, and she goes, hey, like, I want to show you something. I got this sage, and it was so good. Like, it smelled good. It wasn't cool, but look how cool this looks. And I go, it looks burnt. Did you burn it? And she was like, yeah, I burnt it. I saged the house. And it was so funny because before I went in, it felt so much lighter. Like, it felt so weird.
Wow.
It felt so different. And no word of a lie, like I would say it on my like family, whoever has passed away in my family, like all in their graves, like it felt so different. The energy was so different because I was so familiar with what it felt like in there. And then I looked at her, I was like, Brittany, there's no way you saged the house. And she's like, I saged it. I'm like, dude, as soon as I came into the house, I was like, there's something off. There's something different. So it was so strange, but it's really cool. Like little things like that. It's just like, oh, that's really neat. But also like, what was in my house? Like what made it so like dark and scary and all this stuff? So you never know, especially like the land that you live on too, even if there's nothing that happened.
Oh yeah, 100%. Agreed.
Like it's so scary. And I know that there's a lot of like older places in London and in around there like too that have like old historic buildings that are notoriously haunted. Is there somewhere like where you live you would want to visit to do like a ghost hunt if you could?
I don't know. I've always wanted to do like a castle ghost hunt, but there is also like where my husband and I live now. I think less than 3 miles away. There's like one of the most haunted houses in Britain that you can actually stay in. So
okay, I'm gonna be hopping on a plane and I'm gonna be coming over. We could go do that together.
Just come stay at my house.
Oh my god, I would love to go to your house. I'm not even kidding. It's like so cozy and cute.
Yeah, so like less than 3 or 4 miles away from where we now live, there's one of the most haunted houses in the UK.
That's so cool. Honestly, if I ever did come over, you have to like decorate. Like even if I came in like the middle of June, you need to decorate your house as if it was like Halloween.
Oh yeah.
Just because yeah. Because like I need to see it in this like light.
Yeah, oh 100%. It's magical this time of year.
It looks magical, honestly. It really does. I mean, the freezer bunny on your chair looks like he is thriving.
Oh yeah. So good. But the house that's near us is just a regular house. It's just in a regular street. Like, and you can book to spend the night. So I know the people that they must own it because like they're the ones that rent it out for the nights. But you can book to stay a night or a weekend, and I think they give you the equipment to conduct activity, and they've got like certain bits that might aggravate. I think it's haunted by a poltergeist. I think, if I'm remembering correctly. If I'm wrong,
oh god,
I'll correct myself at some stage, but I'm pretty sure it's a poltergeist that actually haunts the house. So they've got like different things in the house, the stuff that you can say and do that might aggravate it and stuff like that. So yeah, it's pretty creepy.
That's so scary. Oh my god, poltergeist stuff is so creepy. It's just like one thing to hear things and see things, but like to have something like thrown at you or something like that is so scary. I actually, funny, one time here's a story at my mom's. Again, I have so many stories.
I was gonna say, of course it was at your mom's.
I'm so sorry if these get annoying. Please tell me to stop.
No. I'm loving these.
But yeah, so there was one time on my birthday, I went over to my mom's, and Malcolm, the one who passed away, who was the one that used to see things in my room when I heard that weird thing in my head. So we have this like little urn in my mom's dining room and on the shelf. And so it's been there for years at that point. And every time I go to my mom's, I'm always like, hi, Malcolm, like, I love you. Have a good day. Like, see you later. Like, I always try and like, I always try and like acknowledge things because like I always want to keep them there. And it just, it just kind of like helps me mentally too. So I always go over. And there was a day on my birthday, I finished and everyone was going to bed. And at that point, Alex was doing something on the other side of the house. My mom was sleeping. My sister was sleeping. her boyfriend was downstairs in the basement and he was also sleeping. And I was the only one awake with Alex. And so at that point, I was alone in the living room, and I walk over to the dining room and I am about to go to bed. And I sit over and I look over at Malcolm's urn and I go, okay, well, you know, like, because his birthday's close to mine. So I was like, happy birthday, Malcolm. Like, this was such a good birthday, whatever, like that. Like, just like little things, nothing weird, but like, I just like go over and, you know, I just talk with him. And as if that's not weird, I go over and talk with him. And so after I said goodnight and I started to walk away, something like flew off the shelf. Oh shoot, I don't know in the head right now what it was, but it fell off the shelf and I turned around and it freaked me out because I've never seen like something like that happen. And at the same time, I was far away from it. So I was like maybe 10 feet. So everything's kind of like more open, but the kitchen is right beside the dining room. So I was like in the kitchen, I was just talking from afar, and I turn around and that fell off the shelf. And I turned around and I just started like bawling because I was like, oh my God. Like, I don't know if it was Malcolm. I don't know if it was maybe like, it wasn't the wind because every door and window was closed. There was nothing that would have knocked it over. It was like, it's been on there forever. Like, even when I was over there last time, like everything was there. I don't know if it was someone I knew, but they were just being like, hey, I'm here. I'm acknowledging that like you were talking to me. Happy birthday, this is for you, kind of thing, like just to let you know, like kind of thing. So that's the way I like to take it. I don't want to be like anything kind of scary. So I just like went over to Alex and he's in the room just minding his own business, and I come over and I'm just like bawling my eyes out. I'm like, this just happened, and there was something over there that fell off the shelf and all this, and he was like, whoa, calm down, and he just like, he's more paranoid about that because he's like, if you acknowledge things like that maybe isn't the best, you don't want to give it that acknowledgement. So he just kind of tried to like make me stop talking about it like as soon as possible. But he was just kind of like, that's really sweet, but let's stop talking about it, kind of thing. So it was really cool though. But I have so many stories. Like, if people like watching our stuff and talking about this, like I have so many stories, but there's just like super weird things. So yeah, that's like the closest thing I've ever gotten to like a quote unquote poltergeist event.
I would say that's definitely Malcolm. It's got to be.
Yeah, that's what I hope. I'm like, that's my little schmello. That's who it is.
That's so cute. He was letting you know that he was there, and he knew that you were there, and he just wanted to make his presence known, maybe.
That's what I would love to try and take away from that.
Yeah, I would.
But yeah, Alex and I, we went ghost hunting as well. And back in like post, when we started editing everything, we heard like so much stuff. It's absolutely insane. And you watch like people and you watch YouTubers and they go, oh, you know, like we didn't hear much when we were there, but after post we heard so much. And I'm like, well, how could that happen if you can't hear it yourself? How is the camera gonna pick up on it?
Yeah.
And I was sitting there and Rachel, someone said my name. There was a kid that was like, come play with us. There was a girl that said, get out. Yeah. They said my name, and I was like, how could a ghost say my name? And it sounded like Alex. And I heard him, like, I told him, I was like, get over here. And my eyes started to water because it was so scary. And he was talking as the other voice said my name, in like almost mimicking Alex's voice. And it scared me. And he was like trying to sit there, and he's sitting there trying to debunk it. And he's like, maybe my voice like bounced off the wall. I was like, come on. Like, don't try that. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. I was like, someone said my name in your voice. They were mimicking you with my name. Like, it's so scary. Yeah. So it's really crazy. Yeah. It was literally, check that off, phasmophobia.
Yeah, the mimic goes, like, done.
Exactly. But I was just like, oh my God. So it's really, really crazy. I'm so excited for people to watch it, but it's so scary, like hearing people like back after post. And I'm not even finished editing everything, but hearing things so far, it's so weird. It's so weird hearing things back.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm excited to watch it because that sounds like obviously scary for you, but incredible for us as the viewer watching it, you know?
Right. Yeah, because it's not happening to you guys, so it's fine. But like, well, I was gonna say, because we have so many stories. I've talked so much. I'm such a yapper. I'm so sorry. We have what we did is on our channel, we actually did ask people to send in stories.
Sorry, my dog's barking. Can you hear that?
Cute. we did ask a bunch of people on our stories to send us in. So we have just a couple of stories here of people's paranormal experiences. Do you want to share like one of yours and then I can share one of mine right after?
Yeah, definitely. So this is from someone on YouTube. So they say, not really a story, but since we moved into our house, there's been a tiny handprint on the glass of the back of the sliding doors. It's too small for any of ours and looks like a child's hand. It shows up every night and we can't clean it off.
What do you mean you can't keep it off? You see, that's the thing where you need to have cameras. You need to have cameras. Maybe it's just some like little like raccoon that he's like, hey, let me try and
Never actually thought of a raccoon, but like when you see its little nails and stuff.
That is very true.
Yeah,
like if it is like an actual hand.
Yeah. I'm going with that.
Oh, no, thank you.
I'm going with that.
I think I'd probably move. Like, what do you do in that scenario? Because that's the thing.
Move. I'm not dealing with that. Unless it's a friendly ghost.
Okay. That's fair. Well, clearly, I guess it's trying to get in, but it can't get in, so it's just kind of standing there. It's like, let me in.
If it was friendly, I feel like it wouldn't be leaving fingerprints on windows. But that's just me.
That is also very true. Clean that up, man. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's so scary. Because that's the thing is, like, if you don't have a child, like, I think I would be, like, super scared to be like, okay, is there some kid that just, like, is breaking into our backyard or what is happening? Like, but yeah, if that's the spooky thing, that's so scary. I would hate that.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, I have one here, and I hope I got this in proper order, but I did get a DM on Instagram, and this is from Caitlin, and Caitlin says, I have a story, but I don't know how paranormal it is. Basically, I was watching a series on Netflix called Archive 81, which is a horror about a cult who is trying to resurrect this spirit in the 90s, and now it is traveling through time and through technology to mess with a guy who is watching archive footage of this cult. Now, I'm a major film personnel, so I can watch stuff without getting emotionally invested and can analyze film techniques used, but this series was a little different. I felt really off while watching this, to the point where I actually had to switch off my laptop. I felt really disturbed while watching it, and it felt like I needed to stop. A few nights passed and I kind of forgot about it until one night I was asleep in my college dorm and I feel this really intense heat out of nowhere, and just know I mustn't open my eyes. I was so quiet that it felt like my ears were ringing. It felt like there was something in my room and it was not a person. I had that feeling like, you know, when someone is watching you. I couldn't move and I could feel the cross that I always wear around my neck, and I managed to reach at the top of it and hold it. It was so hot and it felt like it was burning my hand, but I didn't let go. I felt like the air around me was so thick that it was like someone was pushing down on me. I don't know how long it was, but eventually the pressure stopped and it felt like I could breathe again, and I felt the air cool down. I opened my eyes and my room was more darker than usual, and when I checked my phone, it was around 3 a.m., which feels like that's when all the paranormal stuff happens, which is true. We got like the whole witching hour at like 3 a.m. My friends say it was a dream, but it never felt anything more real. Luckily, I moved out soon after that, and I haven't felt like that since, but I'm convinced something was in my room that night.
Oh.
That is
okay, that's the
crazy.
creepiest story I've ever heard. Genuinely. Wow.
That is so scary. Do you have like any like crosses or anything on you, or like in your house or like near you?
No, we're not particularly religious people, so no.
Yeah.
But just hearing about the cross getting hot at the top, like,
Yeah.
ooh, that's the bit that sort of sent me there. Wow.
That's so scary, because like they're also kind of like, I forgot about the movie, so you're not in that scared state, like you're not thinking of that, and then that something like that happens and you're like, I can't, and then you feel it and then it's so hot and then something is pressuring on you. That's so scary.
Yeah.
I would hate that. Luckily they moved out. Luckily you moved out, Caitlin. That sucks.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's genuinely probably one of the worst ones I've heard.
Wow. Yeah, that's scary. You have another one too, right?
No, but I've got one of my own that I haven't
Oh,
even spoken about. Well, it's not a scary. Is it scary? No, it's not really a scary one. But it's quite interesting. So I used to work I used to study special effects and media makeup at university.
Damn.
And I did a lot of like low budget movies on set, like being the makeup artist and stuff like that. So I was on set with this particular cast and I walked in, got everything set up. I was going around. It was really, really simple, minimal makeup. It was basically just like patching, people up ready for camera, doing a few bruises here and there.
Yeah.
I came over to this woman who was starring in the movie, and I have to like set her hair and just do whatever I need to do. And we're chatting and she's really nice. And she said to me, have you ever been to a medium before? And
this is when it starts.
And I said, it's funny you should ask. I said, because I actually, at this point, I'd actually been to see one about 6 months prior to this. And I said, I've been to see one about 6 months ago. Like, why'd you ask? And she said, I'm actually a clairvoyant. Like, I'm a medium. I'm very, very spiritual. I was like, oh, that's amazing. Me thinking that she was like trying to get me to give her money and like go see her somewhere. Just me being the glass half empty kind of girl that I am sometimes. Anyway, so we're chit-chatting and she said, I hope you don't mind me telling you this. She said, but since you've walked through the door, there's a gentleman that I keep seeing who is constantly with you. Like, he will not leave your side. And I was like, oh my goodness, okay. And she said he's wearing a flat cap. He's dressed very smart. He has a very, very sort of professional briefcase. He's very well-to-do, very well-spoken, very handsome. And she said there's also this little dog that's with him who's quite fluffy and very friendly. Now immediately I'm thinking, well, it's my mum's dad, so my granddad that passed away when I was 2. And so I was like, oh my goodness. I said, thank you for telling me this. I said, that's really nice of you to say that. She said, I just wanted you to know because, it's something that I'm seeing very, very vividly with you.
Wow.
And I said, it's really funny. I said, because the lady that I saw 6 months ago described the exact same man. The exact same with the dog, with the flat cap, with the smartly dressed and the briefcase. And so I went home and obviously I had to tell my mum, and my mum, she's not a skeptic. She's really not, because obviously she's been through her own experiences, and she just starts tearing up. And she said, that's my dad. That's your granddad. That's just with you all the time. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like, she said the way that she's described him and everything, she said we call him Granddad Benny because that was my mum's maiden name. She's like, that's Granddad Benny. And I was just like, I haven't really told many people that story. I don't know if I must have told my husband like years ago, but yeah, that's
look at us getting the little tree.
But yeah, that's probably like my top one, really. But yeah, that was just incredible.
I absolutely love that. That is such like a cute and such an emotional, like, lovely story. Thank you so much for telling me that.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
Oh my god, girl. Oh my god, because I was gonna ask if you've ever been to like a medium before as well. That's so nice to feel like you are being watched and you're being protected and stuff like that, and having people and stuff. That's so sweet.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm so glad. So you have been to a medium.
Yeah, I've been to 2 my entire life, within very close proximity of one another. I went to one, and then just about a month or 2 later I went to another one. So one, we did like a tarot, not like a tarot card reading, but like a card reading. And then the other one, she literally just talked about stuff that she saw.
Did she talk about like nonsense, or was she like kind of like, okay?
No, there was. They both said pretty much the same thing, which was quite strange, because I think we're looking at. I mean, when did I go and see these women? Maybe 15 years ago, and both of them said that I was gonna marry an older man who had children, which I did.
Oh my god!
And yeah, it was like, you think 15 years ago, you think, well, what am I going to remember from 15 years ago? That definitely stuck in my mind. They both said. And like I said, the one that I'd seen second had described my granddad, that then this actress had described while I was on set as well. So yeah.
Wow. That's so exciting. That's so cool. It's so weird when things like that happen and you're like, how did you know that? That's
exactly.
So scary.
Yeah.
Actually, I was on the phone with a medium not that long ago, actually.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, yeah, I was like sitting there in my head. I'm like, okay, medium on the phone. How the heck does that even work? Because like, I'm so, you know, it doesn't work. So I went and I was like, one day I was just scrolling on Instagram and I'm sitting here and I've always wanted to, because I've always wanted to have like a friend who is a medium. And I always said that for so long. And I was like, I would love to, just because like, I would like to learn more about it, because I don't understand it fully. And things happen to me a lot. So it's like, I'd like to understand more about it. And so when I was like sitting there and I'm like, okay, I'd like to meet someone, I kept saying it. And then my boss said medium. And I was like, no freaking way. After that, it was just kind of like, he moved back to Prince Edward Island is where he's from. And so he moved there. So I was just kind of sitting there. And one day I came across this medium on Instagram, and she just was always like so detailed about her readings with people. And what she would do is she'd go into like a restaurant, and she'd have like a bunch of people sign up for those things. You go sit down, and then she does like a group reading, and then she'll come to you, and then she'll you know, do things. And so I was watching it, and I was like kind of stalking her page for like a week, and I noticed that like every time that she talked, it was always so detailed. She was always on point, I guess, with people when they said like, oh, you know, that little flower thing that you picked from this day that you put underneath your mirror in your car, your son knows that you did that. And they're like, oh my god. So it's like, how do you know that? Because I'm like sitting here and I'm like, you wouldn't post something about like this, or you wouldn't talk about something like that, or how they found this person in this state. Like, how would you know stuff like that? So when I was looking at her page, and I go, you know what the heck, you know, like, when am I ever gonna not just do something stupid and spontaneous? Let's just pay for this and see what happens. And I get on the call with her. Everything that she said, 95% of everything she said was correct. And it was really interesting. And there's some little things where she was like, okay, I'm going to say things to you all this time, and I'm going to say little things here and there that you might not understand at the moment, but you might know things afterwards. And so I go, okay. So as we're talking, it's about like a half an hour. And after that, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't understand like a lot of these things. But you know what? I'm just going to ask my family. And I would ask them, they're like, no, this is that. How did she know that? That. And it was really crazy. And a lot of time that it really threw me off, because when she was reading me, she was reading my sister. So the things that like the memories of this person, again, they were reading like my sister. And I remember actually talking about this now. I do remember my old boss saying that like my sister and myself, he said that like our energies were like, yeah, like really, I guess, really close, connected. Yeah. Like, so anytime that he would get something from me, it was usually from my sister Brittany. And so when she was reading me, she was also getting stuff from Brittany. And I would go, oh my God, like not one, but two people. And I didn't even mention to her that I had a sister. She was reading stuff from my sister. So it was really, really interesting. But everything she said was correct afterwards. Like after a couple of weeks later, it was all correct. And it was so strange. It was so strange. As I was like on the call with her, she was like, oh yeah, there's like people here that want to talk to you. That's so exciting. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And then she would talk about like little things that I didn't really understand. She's like, but you hear them, right? And like she's like, your great grandma, she's like, no, she hears me. She talks to me and stuff like that. Like I talk to her and all this stuff. And then she was like, you can hear that stuff, can't you? And I go,
sure.
I don't know. She was like, yeah, you need to like tune into that. And I'm like, great. I don't know how to do that. So I also sent you, I think, a part of this video that I would love to actually go through some videos to take a look to see what we kind of think about how spooky it is on a scale of 1 to 10 and how realistic this might be. Sorry, my dog's barking again. Can you hear him? So I have the video open, and so yeah, 10's gonna be the scariest, 0 is gonna be like child's play, it's gonna be nothing. I haven't seen any of these yet, so I just kind of like, I took like a little bit of like a look, and I was just like, okay, these are good, I'm just gonna download it really quick. So I haven't seen it. I'm super excited. So let's see how these go.
This has to be the best paranormal activity we've ever captured.
What the fuck was that? What? See that?
Oh,
What is that?
it looks like a can. Is that a can? No. Whoa.
I can't work out if I found that like scarier because of the editing and the sound effects that they used, and then there was just something on the floor. I can't work that out. What do you think?
You know what? It's hard because it's like it's in an open room and it didn't look like there was anyone in that room.
True.
So
Yeah.
so it's like unless someone's like behind that wall where they're standing and say like someone like maybe like threw something or something, but I don't know. It looks, if that is real, then that's really scary. But at the same time, yeah, like if you have like music and sound effects, it always makes it so much worse than it actually is.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna go with a 4 just for the video. Yeah.
I think, you know what? Yeah, I think a 4 is pretty good. I'm gonna go with a 4 too.
Yeah, can't quite work that one out.
Yeah, that was a little hard. Okay, so next up we have this next one with a night guard.
Night guard was patrolling the area alone, and he swears he was talking to an old lady. Luisa Alvarez uploaded a video taken from a security camera where a man can be seen waving to someone in the dark. He sees someone we can't see. He goes over to open the door for what he would later describe as a lost old lady. While conversing with the old lady, he waits for the elevator, and this happens.
He's like, what? No. Yeah, no.
Why did he press it and then just run off straight away?
It's like, lady, if you're here, the elevator's
He
here, but
runs
I
off
gotta
the
go.
building after the horrifying realization. Some people believe the devil was paying him a visit, but without any more information, we can only assume.
Interesting.
Maybe a 5. I don't know. Like that could be staged. It could be.
That's the hard thing. You can easily just like pretend like you're talking to someone.
Yeah. I mean, it looks genuine. And obviously, if you are that guy, that is 15 out of 10. But watching it, I feel like it's a 5, especially with the guy narrating. He's a bit dramatic and a bit, you know, like, I don't know. Maybe like a 5 from me.
You know what? That makes sense. Because that's the thing is like, he looked really scared, but you kept like, you pressed the button for some reason.
Yeah,
and
then
you
just ran
like,
straight off.
he just ran away, which I mean, fair. Like if I thought that I was talking to someone and someone called me and they're like, who are you talking to? You're the only one on there. I would also be really scared. I don't know if I would just keep running outside the parking lot though. Like unless you see that woman crawling on all fours to come get you, I don't think I'm running that far away.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know. So I honestly, maybe I would say maybe like a 6 maybe. I'll do a 6 for me. Because if it is real, then that is pretty interesting. Unless he has like,
absolutely.
like schizophrenia and he's like talking to someone or I don't know. All right. So we have the next one, and this guy is also in a parking lot. And I guess from like the video forward here, it looks like some dude's walking, but I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Your phone. But okay.
That to me just looks like a person walking across the car park and the camera just hasn't picked them up. Like you got in the car and then like what? Go start getting in cars and opening up the car doors, surely.
He's like, hey, just walks over, just opens the door.
Definitely for me a glitch with the camera.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with like a 0 out of 10.
Well, he lost me as soon as he opened the door. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. You broke the immersion. You broke the immersion.
Exactly. Why? At least like maybe if you stopped the video before you got in the car, I would have been like, oh, maybe. But no, you kept going.
You showed too much.
0. You showed too much. Get out of here. It's a 0 from me too. And the last one we have, I don't know, it looks black. So we'll see what happens here.
This is one of the most convincing ghost videos I have seen. It was recorded on the Gettysburg battlefield in the 90s, before digital effects were really consumer grade. Notice how the people recording this phenomenon are trying to actively debunk what they are seeing.
Don't move in there. No, there's a motorcycle. See?
I don't see nothing down there.
I like their accent.
Can't be the
Yeah, me too.
motorcycles, honey. There's another sparkle. You see what I'm
What was
saying?
that? That looked like Bigfoot.
What is that?
What a big boy.
Tree.
No.
Wait. Could you
You
imagine?
moved it, right?
What?
Right
Oh
there.
no!
See?
See, that's creepy.
Oh, look.
Yeah, nah.
Weird. It's just like going in and out of the forest.
8.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
an
I'd
8
say
out
like
of 10. Because they were
like an 8 out of 10,
genuinely
yeah.
scared. They were trying to work out what it was. They were trying to put like common sense to it as well, and a bit
Right.
of logic. Nah, no, that's creepy. I'm gonna go with an 8.
I see. Like, yeah, you know what? That's probably good. I think I'm gonna go with an 8 too, because you get like the older couple. They sound like an older couple, and they
Yes.
both are kind of like, look, honey, what's that? And then they're just kind of like sitting here. Unless someone knows what the heck that is, I don't understand what that could be. Because I'm like thinking, is it a light? Is it foggy over there, and there's like a light hitting it? But that doesn't make any sense because
Definitely
then
a
it would light up
person.
everything else.
It was definitely a
That
person.
has to be. That's so scary.
You could see like the
Yeah.
figure. Nope.
That's so scary. I'm done.
Oh, yeah, I'm done.
Moving away. That last one was very scary, and I don't think I would be able to do that. But you know what, Rachel, thank you so freaking much for doing this with me. I have always so much fun talking with you. This was so much fun.
Thank you so much for having me. I had the best time. Honestly, we should do this again next year for sure.
Yes, people, if you guys enjoy this, please let us know, and we will have like our own little, we can have like a little spooky podcast and talk about like all fun things.
Definitely.
So where can everyone find you if they're looking for you?
I am RachelPedd across all platforms, nice and easy. 2 Ds at the end.
Perfect. Thank you again, Rachel. Thank you so much. And I guess I will see you later.
See you soon. Thank you again.
Okay, bye.
Bye.